Hey everybody, it's Andy from Beekeeping Homestead here, and it was about 70 degrees and sunny outside yesterday, which means I got to prep the footing and everything for the bee box. I got all the footage, and welcome to the Beekeeping for Beginners Part 2. So just to start, I did put up a Part 1 video that kind of gives you a good idea of where exactly you want to put the bee box that is beneficial for them. So if you need to go back and take a peek at that, catch up a little bit, it's a quick one, feel free. To start, obviously you're going to want to lay out a good enough space to have a footing for the bee box itself. Personally here, I'm trying to make one that's only a little bit bigger than the box because I'm not totally sure what I want to do around it. So in actually prepping the area on the ground, obviously if you're dealing with cement or something that's already a harder surface, it's going to be a little bit different from what I'm doing here. The first thing that I did was actually, went out there, and I have the four patio stones that I used are only a little bit bigger than the bee box. So it was pretty simple for me to just lay those down and then kind of mark out an area bigger than that I'm going to dig out. I did it the same way that I pretty much mark out my lines in garden beds. I just use the shovel and whack down really quick just to plot out a spot. And then, of course, comes the digging. You want to go down at least to a harder, deeper surface if you can. You want to get as much of the topsoil out as possible. Here, I'm very lucky in the spot that I chose. I already know I don't have to go all that deep until I start hitting clay. And once I hit clay, then you know you're good enough. If it's going to sink, it's going to be very little, if at all. Once it's dug down to clay, you want to clean out as much of that topsoil as you can. Fortunately for me, I have a pile of not necessarily small crushed stone, but smaller stones that I could go and get and put in a bigger bottom footing for that. If you don't have stones that you can go and get yourself, you can just go and buy bags of crushed stone. That's just fine. You're going to need a little bit more. It's not wallet breaking, but you do want to fill in the bottom well with crushed stone, and then you want to smooth it all out. And the next step is you want to have the bags of playground sand to put on and let water through, but also fill in the voids between the crushed stone itself. As you're mounting on that playground sand, you want to smooth it out first. And the one thing that I didn't get footage of, unfortunately, you want to try to actually level off the sand beforehand. Before you start putting the patio stones back on top, you want to level off the sand and spray it a little bit with a hose just to compact it, make sure that it's good and solid, and then you can get your stones on there and start really working down to level. Bees somehow know to build honeycomb straight vertical up and down. How they know this, I honestly don't know, but they do. So if your bee box is tilted or skewed one way or another, the bees will actually build the honeycomb at a slant, and one side of the entire tray, the honeycomb won't be deep enough for babies to develop into, but the other side will. So it can be a huge problem if the hive does not stay level. So whatever you choose for a footing underneath your hive, just keep in mind that by the end of this season, hopefully it's going to be close to 300 pounds. So be very careful and be very secure, because you don't want to have to move that around when they're getting protective in fall and your box starts sinking. That's all I got. I'm pretty much ready for the bees at this point. I know I have everything I need as far as the hive goes. I got the bees ordered and the footing is already out there. It's just a matter of waiting until May the 4th now until I can get those bees here. Luckily, I have 1,000 plants to keep me busy until then. Some of those videos are going to be following in between, so feel free to subscribe if you'd like to follow along in any of that stuff, or just even with the bees. As always, if there's any questions or comments or any information that I can share to help, please feel free to comment and ask away. I love nothing more than talking about this stuff. I can talk to nobody but a camera about it. Take care, folks, and as always, please be kind to each other.